Okay. I would suggest that for almost all of these problems, you think about a loop-de-loop. I think that might make it easier for you. So what do we mean by loop-de-loop? Do you remember? We start right here. We go like this. So 3 to the negative third, that's an exponent, equals x. Now, what do we do with 3 to the negative third? What does that mean? Fraction. 1 over 3 cubed. And some of you are still struggling with that notion. So go ahead and write it down. 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3. What is 1 times 1 times 1? 1. And what is 3 times 3 times another 3? 27. There you go. I would do this one too, but you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, where do I start? Well, I'm supposed to start right here, right? What is the base? What? Well, it's log base C. This is log base C. So the base is E. So E to the x equals 1 over e to the 5th. Now you got to think about your exponents here, guys. When you have 1 over, what does that mean? It means you have a negative exponent. So isn't this, right here, e to the negative 5th? And if e to the x equals e to the negative 5th, don't these two equal each other? X equals negative 5. Now, I am not saying that you have to go through and do all those steps. Some of you the other day were doing these without going through all those steps. Some of you were able to look at this and say, okay, I know it's got to be negative because it's 1 over. And if I think of it like that, what happens when ln and e touch each other? They cross out, so the answer is negative 5. So you can do this different ways. You don't have to go through all these steps. But if you don't know what else to do, that's a good option to go through the steps. All right, let's loop-de-loo it. What does it say when I loop-de-loo it? Start right here. X to the first equals 19. Well, what's x got to be? 19. Isn't 19 to the first 19? Yeah. So x is 19. What about this one? This is the easiest one of all. What's this one? 5 to the second equals x. And 5 to the second means 5 times 5, which is 25. What about you? We know the base is 10 because anytime it says log and there's no base, it's 10. So loop-de-loo it, what's it say? 10 to the x equals 1,000. And now, don't just guess. Don't just guess numbers. What's 10 times 10? That's 100, right? What's 100 times another 10? 1,000? So how many 10s did it take? 3. So the answer is 3. X is 3. How about F? cancel, and the answer is 36. Anytime those two numbers are the same, like where the sixes are there, the answer is just the other number. All right, what do we do here? So 4 to the x equals 64. You guys need to make sure you know how to do that. We've done it on almost every single problem. Well, 4 to what power gives me 64? Again, don't just take wild random guesses. 4 times 4 is 16. Times another 4 is 64. So how many did it take? 3. So x equals 3. Here we need ranges. All right, turn it over. We already had a quiz over exponents, but here's a few more. See if we remember what to do. This is the first thing we do. Flip it. Make it 1/16. Now, what does that mean now? Makes it radical. So it's going to be 1/16 underneath. It's going to be the 4th root, and it's going to be cubed. The 4th root of 1 is 1, because any root of 1 is 1. What's the 4th root of 16? 2. Because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. I keep giving you the same numbers over and over again. I'm not giving you any hard numbers. 4 root of 16 is 2. And then I keep it. Which means now I multiply times itself 3 times. So 1 times 1 times 1. 2 times 2 times 2. All right, what about the next one? Flip it. And when I flip it, it becomes 2 over 1, which is just 2. I'm not going to confuse myself. I'm just going to make it 2. What does 2 cubed mean? 8. 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Answer to that one is just plain 8. All right, 64/27 to the 2/3. Don't flip. Why not? Not negative. So I go straight to the radical. It's a cube root squared. The cube root of 64. That means times itself 3 times, right? 2 times 2 times 2. I'm trial and error in case I don't know that the cube root of 64 is 4. Not figuring it out like you have to. You don't have that memorized. 2 times 2 times 2 is 64. Nope. How about 3 times 3 times 3? Is that 64? No, but that actually is 27. So the cube root of 27 is 3. What's 4 times 4 times 4? 64. So the cube root of 64 is 4. I need to square that. So what is my answer? 4 thirds times 4 thirds, 16 ninths. reduces by 5s to 2/5. Alright. Now you're gonna have to write an exponential. Anybody remember what an exponential looks like? Y equals A times B to the X. And I've got my 2 points. Anybody remember what we do first? We know the number hooked to the 0, that guy right there, is automatically A every time. Remember that? We didn't know that in the beginning, so we worked out several problems and it always came out that that number was A. So we have Y equals 4 times B to the X. Now what do I do? Plug in the other point, so 16/9, remember this is X and Y. So 16/9 equals 4 times B squared. And there, that does have some fraction stuff going on there. So one option, we gotta get B squared by itself, okay? That's what we gotta do. So one option is to multiply by 1/4. Divide by 4, multiply by 1/4. Another option that some of you liked was, because you weren't comfortable with the fractions, if you multiply by 9, you would have this. Agreed? If I multiply both sides by 9, then I can divide by 36, and now my B squared is by itself. You could also, if you're comfortable doing it, multiply both sides by 1/4, and you get exactly the same thing, 16 over 36. Then what? I don't want B squared, I want B. So what am I going to do to get B? Square root of both sides. So B equals the square root of 16. Or over the square root of 36, 6. Now that actually does reduce to 2/3. So coming back over here, my answer is Y equals 4 times 2/3 to the X. And we talked about, it's often tempting to cancel those, but they stay as 2 separate numbers, A, B. Just jog you some memories here. Remember, all this is in your notes, homework, it's all there. All right, and number 4, finally. Is this equation a growth or decay? Decay. Everybody see that? Decay. 0.71 is less than 1, so this is decay. How much less than 1 is it? 29. So what's my percent growth of decay? 29%. What is my initial value? 62. That is tomorrow. So practice again if you want. If you get stuck, you can watch this video. Go through it all. Okay? Alrighty, let's get our notes out. solving without a calculator. Alright, so let's ponder that for a second. Anybody know what the answer to number, or letter A is? 3. That is easy because we know that 8 is 2 cubed, or we should practice that a lot. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So if 2 to the x equals 2 cubed, doesn't it make sense that x has to be 3? And a lot of you just would look at it and tell, and that's fine. Now this one isn't quite so easy though. What do you think we might do here first? It just kind of makes sense. How about dividing by 3? Let's get rid of that number. So 4 to the x equals, what's 48 divided by 3? 16? Is that a nice number to have in that spot right there? That's a great number to have there because what do we know about 4? 4 squared is 16. So 16 is 4 squared, so x has to be 2. If these two numbers can be made the same, then this will always be your answer. Does that make sense to you? Well, let's look over here this way. What do we know about 4? 4 is 2 squared. So I'm changing my 4 into 2 squared. What do I know about 8? It's 2 cubed. Stop and look at that for a second. What did we just say over here? We can make these two the same. And basically, we can get rid of them, and our exponents are the answer. Didn't I just make these two the same? So my exponents are the answer. So 2x equals 3 and x equals 3/2. If you're doing this with no calculator, you guys, you have to be able to do what we call get a common base. 4 is 2 squared, 8 is 2 cubed. If this number had been a 7, then we can't do that. Does that make sense to you? So if it's no calculator, you will always be able to get these two numbers to match. All right, let's look at the next one. What do you think we'll do first to solve this? Divide by 3. So 4 to the 2x equals 32. Thirty-two is a special number. Does anybody know why 32 is special? What's 2 times 2? Another 2 makes 8. Another 2 makes 16. And another 2 makes 32. 32 is 2 to the 5th. What is 4? 2 to the 2nd. So I'm making 4 2 to the 2nd. And I'm making 32 2 to the 5th. them both 2's, then I can make my exponents equal. So 4x equals 5, and x equals 5/4. Looks very scary, but do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. What is going to be step 1? Divide by 2. Always, even when we're doing these on our calculator, we're going to start by dividing that number. If there's an extra number out in front, we're going to divide it out every time. We do not want to have that extra number there. You're going to be able to get both of these the same. 5 does not break down. So 5 is going to stay 5. There's nothing to do with 5. That must mean that 125 is 5 to something. Well, what's 5 times 5? 25? So that's not a square. What's another 5 then? What's 25 times 5? Oh, okay. So how many 5s did it take to get 125? 3. So my exponents now match. Equals, so x over 3 equals 3. So it looks like the answer to the problem is 9. Don't match. You have to make them match. So you have a 9 and a 27. Those are both powers of 3. 9 is 3 squared. 27 is 3 what?
Cubed.
Third, yeah, cubed. Now they're both 3's. You are always going to be able to make those numbers the same, unless you have a calculator. So now our exponents are equal. Now be careful here. This is going to be a distribute. Does that make sense to you? These are being times. So that's going to be a distribute. So it's 2x plus 6 equals 3. So 2x equals negative 3. If I steps? Is anybody able to do that one on your own? Couple people not. All right, let's try this one. Step one. Deanna, what are we gonna do first? Problem two. Divide by 36, that is 7. Does 9 over 36 reduce? 1/4. I have a 1/2 and a 1/4. They don't match, but what do I know about 1/4? It's 1/2 squared. 1/4 is 1/2 times 1/2. You have to make these two numbers match. You're always going to be ready, guys, so that you can do that. 1/4 is 1/2 times 1/2, so it's 1/2 squared. As soon as these match, then this becomes your answer. So x over 4 equals 2, so it looks like x equals 8. This is going to be a little bit tougher. Not bad, but a little bit tougher. With step 1 is the same. Divide by 27. And I know some of you don't like a long division. I don't like a long division, frankly. Goes in 9 times. Or you could reduce this fraction if you wanted. Divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by whatever. Keep dividing, breaking that down. If you didn't want to do the division, you could just reduce the fractions. So we have 1/3 to the x equals 9. These two numbers have to match. What do you want to do? Well, 9 special. What's 9? 3 squared. But that's not a 3, it's a 1/3. How do we flip it over to make it a 3? Negative exponent. So this will be 3 to the negative first to the x, negative exponent, negative x. Was 3 squared. I wanted this to match, so I made it, flip it, make the exponent negative. So negative x equals 2 and x equals negative 2. Multiply by 8. I could divide by 1/8, but that's the same as multiplying by 8, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 8. So 2 to the x over 5 equals 64. What has to happen? So we got to turn that 64 into a 2. So you don't already know how many 2's it takes to get to 64. You're going to have to figure it out. So we know 2 times 2 is 4. Another 2 makes 8. Another one makes 16. So this much is 16. Another one makes 16 times 2, which is 32. And another one makes 32 times 2, which is 64. So how many did it take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How did I know it was going to be a power of 2? Because it has to match this, right? It has to match this. These two numbers have to match. I can't do anything with 2. 2 doesn't break down. So I got to break down the 64 into 2's. And there's 6 of them. So x over 5 equals 6. And x must equal 2. The whole key to doing every problem that we just did was making these two numbers match. Did you notice that none of them were tricky numbers? They were all 2's or 3's, right? 4 thrown in here or there. Okay. A couple more with no calculator, and then we'll do a couple more practice for tomorrow's class. This actually could be on tomorrow's quiz. 1 base 7 of 49 equals x. What do we do with that guy? That could be a quiz question. 7 to the x equals 49. So what's x gotta be? Oh my gosh. It is not 7. Guys, 7 to the 7 is not 49. 7 to the 7 is some gigantic number. This says 7 to what power is 49? The answer is 2. Because 49 is 7 squared. Think, right? Don't just. Alright, how about the next one? Again, this could be on the quiz tomorrow. That could be a quiz question. What's it say? 2 to the third equals x. What's 2 to the third? 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. C could actually be on tomorrow's quiz. It's not, but it could be because it's done exactly the same way. Loop-de-loo it. What's it say when you loop-de-loo it? 4 to the second, 4 squared equals x plus 2. 4 squared is 16 equals x plus 2. So x equals 14. How about D? Loop-de-loo, right? What does it say? 3 squared equals 1 minus x. 3 squared is 9. Now watch your negative signs. You're going to subtract 1. 8 equals negative x. So x equals negative 8. Just going to solve regular equations here once you get it. All right, 2 more. Here we go. This one, what do you think is going to be step 1? Think about some of the problems we did earlier. What do you think? What? Divide by 2. You don't like having that extra number out there? We didn't like it before, we don't like it now. Lazarus, you with me? So we're going to divide everything by 2. So log base 4 x plus 1 equals 2. Notice all that 2 does when I divide is get rid of that first number. It doesn't change anything else. Then I will loop-de-loop. So 4 squared equals x plus 1. Guys, you gotta be able to do this. 4 squared is 16. So x equals 15. Perfect. All right. Now, you do this next one. Before you can actually solve it, you're going to have to do a couple of things. What do you think we're going to want to do with this problem? Now, think about it as a regular equation. So we might first, I would move that 6 to the other side. Then I want that 6 on the other side. And then once I get that 6 moved over, I'll want to take care of that. And then it should be ready to loop. So get started on that. Move your 6. That would be subtracted. Then divide by that negative 3 that's hanging around out in front. We do not want ever. And then we do it and we solve it. Divided by negative 3, and then move through. Okay, nothing that many steps is on your test tomorrow, but this could be on your test tomorrow. Okay, you need to know how to solve that. Okay, so what do? We do, we've done it 100 times today. 4 to the second equals x, so the answer to this problem would be 16, right? And we have to be able to do it tomorrow, not with LOGs, but also with LNs. So ln x equals 4. You have to be able to solve that. So what do we know about ln x? Log AC. We loop-de-loop, just like we do. And what's it going to say? E to the 4th equals x. And you're allowed to just stop there. You have a choice. You have a calculator, so that's it. That's the answer. solve that one. We're gonna remember there's a base of 10. And then n squared equals x, so x is 100. What do you want to do? Okay, so it's log base e. All I did was change that into that, okay? E to some power x equals the square root of e. 1/2. Isn't a square root a 1/2 power? So x equals 1/2. Square roots are 1/2 powers. So x equals 1/2. Alright. Alright, how about this one? Make it 81/16 to the 1/2. And we just talked about it. What does 1/2 mean?
9/4.
Square root. Square root of 81. Square root of 16. Right? Alright, how about this? How about writing an exponential? And you have 0, 4, 2, 36. So your job is to write the equation of the exponential function. So how do we start? So know what you're looking for, which is this. This is your goal. But we already know A is 4. Right? Everybody's got this. So then here's my x and y. So 36 equals 4 times b squared. 9 equals b squared, so b equals 3. And our answer is y equals 4 times 3 roots. There's an exponential. It's a growth or decay problem. Decay. Because this number is less than 1. How much less than 1 is it? 0.08, which is 8%.
Yep.
So this is 8% decay. Because this guy, 1 minus 0.92 is 0.08. Or 100 minus 92 is 8. And what is the initial value? 18. Alright, how about this? Growth or decay? Growth. Percent growth? 32, because 1 plus, or 100 plus 32, right? And the initial value is 17. All right. One more. we will do some more. Tomorrow will be calculator work. The quiz looks just like the practice quiz, as always.